Good morning, guys. Happy New Year's. We made it through 2020. Those of us in the United States, it was a wrenching time. I won't go into it. I've done it the past few videos, but I am so forward looking to a new start in January with a new president, a new administration, uh, people I believe that are there to protect the people, uh, that are not there in their own egos, but they are there to serve and protect as they've sworn they would. Uh, that being said, I want to go into real quick just some things I'd like to throw out there, some thoughts as far as starting your year off. I know that many still struggle regarding their identity, whether it be sexual or gender or even their own where do they fit in life. And I'm not a demigod. I don't claim to know everything. I only go by my own experiences, my own intuition, the little voice that talks to me, and how I've learned through life, my experiences. But I just want to give you a word of hope. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Uh, the United States has been really stricken, not just with the COVID, but with a horrible administration for the last 4 years. And so we are really fighting two different elements in our nation. And one is death threatening, but the other one can be death threatening because the president that is exiting the White House this month incites and promotes violence in our country. And because we still have a portion of people, not a large portion of people, that still believe white skin people dominate, they have latched on to this incitement and to this ideology of this person. Believe me, I do believe that people like this will get their it will come back to them. I do believe in karma. I do believe in spiritual reap what you sow. Uh, I've seen it in my own life prevail. People who have come against me, who have mentally or emotionally abused me through the years, and I have had some experience with that. Not once, not twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. Uh, I look at them now and they have reaped what they've sown. They're not happy, and if they ever found happiness, it's not they're not happy now. So I do believe in that, and that's why I said in my videos that I just knew this election was going to come out with the good, and I'm looking forward to the changes. And it's going to take longer than 4 years, and I just hope that in the 4 years we can get this nation back on the right track as far as uh, what's right and wrong, period. We don't need a king. We don't need a dictator. What makes us prosperous, and that's what makes us um, inviting to other people who are oppressed. But I do want to say this to all of you. Um, I don't know your stories. I don't know your past. The only thing I can say from here forward is if you feel victimized, and you probably are victimized, but I'm saying if you carry that victimized shell on your shoulders, try to work each day at not looking at the past, but how you can react to that past and start moving yourself forward from that past. And I'll just give you maybe an example of my own life. Okay, so I've talked about how I was raised with two people who had 5 kids. By the time my mom was 22, my dad was 23 or 24, 2 years older, so whatever that is. And They weren't given a book how to parent. They were taught right from wrong, and they were taught to go to church and a specific religion they went to church in, worshiped in. And we were taught right from wrong. We were taught to eat everything on our plate. We were taught when you do something wrong, you're going to have consequences. Uh, so in my life, the issue that I had growing up was that my parents fought really bad, and it wasn't physical unless my dad came home drunk. And my dad was an alcoholic. He had issues that he once told me nothing is gray. You can't straddle the fence. It's either black or white. And I think that was his main struggle in life. He couldn't face his, I call them ghosts in the closet, uh, because of how he was brought up and the way life was back in the 60s and 70s. It was pretty much black and white. You didn't have a lot of shaded gray. There was gray shades, but they weren't made known. Uh, so anyway, I was the oldest out of five, and I endured a lot of the emotional uh, scaredness that the kids had when my parents would start fighting. And when I got to the age old enough to get in the middle of them, I did. Now, how did that influence my adult life? Well, in my first relationship, uh, I found that person was someone else, and my first reaction was I wanted to beat the crap out of her. And I threw her up with my hands up against a garage door, and I saw the fear in her eyes, and I let go, and I realized I was being my dad. From that day forward, I couldn't control my reaction at the time. I was young, but I could control how I uh, played out that action. Did I react with violence or physical fighting or verbal? And at first it was verbal, and then it went to self-infliction. I broke my hand hitting a telephone post. Uh, I knew I never wanted to bring harm to someone else, no matter how bad or how hurt I was by that person. And then I started praying to God and said, "You're my only hope to get me through this." And that was the starting of. Now, I always leaned on God through the years of my parents because I was a loner. And I was the only kid out of five that ever became active in sports or played music in the band, the orchestra, jazz band, all that stuff. And I didn't realize it at the time. Not just because I enjoyed those things, but I also realized that I was probably trying to stay away from the house as much as possible. And so I never saw myself as a victim. I couldn't believe the things that were done to me by people who said they loved me and cared about me. But that's what I started basing my reactions on was, and I got past the self-infliction after breaking a bone because I broke my fist pretty good. But I slowly started just saying, you know what, they reap what they sow. I started depending on those scriptures that spoke to circumstances like this, and that's how I started healing from the pain and the affliction. I never saw myself as a victim. Now, that doesn't mean that I wasn't a victim, because I was to a certain point. But I always rode above that. I didn't want to sulk, and those are words in my own eyes. I didn't want to hide away in a corner and not ever uh, face life again because I was treated like this. Instead, I swore to myself I'd get out as soon as I could. And I got out at 16 years old. Um, Due to circumstances, I did end up back with my mom at 18, but it was only for a few months. So, this new year, what I'm saying is, let's take our struggles, especially if you can't control them, you're like I was. in a home where there was emotional and verbal and sometimes physical uh, violence, uh, go within yourself, find that inner person, that inner energy that you have, and let it out. Try to look at the glasses half full, not about those circumstances, because you can't control those circumstances. But each day you wake up, just say, I'm not going to focus on that stuff. I'm going to focus on me and where I need to go in order to get away from that uncontrolled situation. And if you're still young, you can still get away inside yourself. You can go outside. You can go outside in the backyard, front yard, lean against a tree if you have one, and read a book or listen to some music. Uh, when things are at the hardest point of you, whether you're young and can't get out or you are an adult, young adult, older adult, whatever it is, when things are at its most challenging times, that is life challenging you personally. Are you going to get up and move forward, or am I going to smack you down and keep you with me here? You can do this. It is in every one of us that we have the spiritual strength, we have the emotional strength, we have the physical strength not to refrain from, acting out. Uh, if you are a verbal kind of person and you have a sharp tongue, work on controlling that. You have control of that. You have control of all your actions and reactions. So I'm asking you, let's take today and let's just ask ourselves, what is one thing I enjoy doing? Or what is one thing I can do to take myself away from that situation that's negative in my life that I have no control over? So if that means take a walk, just clear your mind, be in the moment. Don't think of what's going on. Don't think what they said to you or what happened to you. Say, I am better than that. I am not going to stoop to their level and run my life like they do. Break that cycle. And that's what I did. I broke that cycle in my parents. Now, I have siblings that acted out like that and still do. But I broke that cycle because I knew there was a better life than that. And so that's what I would like to say to all of you, especially when you're 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 either experiencing a change or not a change, but you're figuring out your sexuality, your gender identity. Those are hard things in our lives to come to terms with, but not only that, to come out to. And there are many who hide it still because of the way they were brought up or because of their family's mentality. I did for many years. And I think what's changed a lot for people, I always give Bono my my praise because it was because of him, excuse me, coming out that I was saying, hey, that's what I've always thought. He had my words, he had my similar experiences. And then social media, I think, has really, and the media itself, because back in my day, we didn't watch TV all day long. We had a ritual at night after we ate dinner that we'd go in and take our baths, and mom would give us some dessert if she had it, or pop some popcorn, and we'd all sit down and watch a few family TV shows. I Love Lucy, Ponderosa, Bonanza, things like that, The Brady Bunch. And that was like a family time, but we never called it family time. And so, it was a structure. But I really feel that if you sit today and just think about what I've said, think about where you are in your life. Understand that how you were brought up, but ask yourself, is it fair to continue to put yourself in the shadows and live as they want you to and then hurt someone else down the road, in which many people have, because they've married and had kids, and then you got the whole a bigger issue. Take 2021, a new decade ahead of us, and say, okay, just take one thing at a time. What is it? And don't make it the things that you set yourself up to fail. If you've got a weight issue and you've been dealing with a weight issue like a roller coaster for 15 years, well, you're not going to fix it right away in 2021. What I would say to that, and I've dealt with it. You've heard me talk about diet and weight gain on here, and I still have a midsection on me. My muscles are tightened up, as you can see in my chest. It's all solid, but you got to work on yourself first. In order to face any of this adversity in your life, you first have to come to terms with yourself. What is it about yourself that you want to change so bad? Is it that you want that sharp tongue? You don't want to react in that sharp tongue. You know it hurts people, and then you feel guilty even worse afterwards. Work on that by silencing yourself. You say, Ethan, how can I silence myself when they piss me off? Well, take a deep breath. Put your hand out like that to them if you have to. Walk away. Let yourself cool down. And if they said something to you that was hurtful, just say, I just want to say, I'm not here to fight. I'm not going to argue with you. But that hurt me what you said. And when you want to know why it hurts me, then we can talk. And then just say, until then, I don't want to discuss this anymore. You be in control, but be controlled. Know how you're coming at. Listen to your voice and the firmness of it, of that you're in control. You're not going to allow this to happen anymore. You're trying to change this. You don't have to go on about that. This is what you're trying to change. But find yourself. Give yourself this year to find yourself. Because when you do, when you start finding yourself and you start saying, hey, I'm used to being used, I'm not going to allow people to use me anymore. And wanting to please people is them taking advantage and using you because they know you want to please people. Why do you want to please people? Why do you want them to accept you? You need to accept yourself first. So again, let's go back to asking yourself why. Write down things about yourself that you want to change, and look at them and say, okay, why do I want to please people all the time? Why do I do things that I don't want to do to please people, to be accepted? Okay, let's find out, what is it about you that you feel they won't accept? So it's little things like this. And I'm just going to, this is 18 minutes already, but I'm going to do another video after this and post it so that it's not so long. But I'm not going to talk about this stuff. I'm going to talk actually about transition and stuff in 2021. But I feel a need to say these things because there are so many people who don't have a support system. Let me be your support system. Listen to my video. You can do this. You are worthy of being happy. You are worthy of holding your head high and walking forward and being a productive human being, reaping what you're sowing, working at a job that you enjoy, whatever it is that is a struggle right now. And I understand the pandemic. Let's just set that aside. But just within yourself, let's just write down some things that you would like to not necessarily change, but find the root of why you do those things. Because when you find the root and you work on the root, then you don't need to change because you will automatically start gaining confidence. You will start being, you know, uh, I can't even think of the word right now, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. You will reassure yourself that you're worthy. But you know, everything takes work. Everything takes having to face things that you don't want to face. whether it's about yourself or whether it's about something that happened to you, trauma of any kind. But like I said, don't live in the dark side. Don't live in the past. Try to make 2021, try to open your window slowly if you have to, and let the light shine in. So let's call it let the light shine in. Okay. You guys have a good day. I'm going to do another video real quick, and I'll take it one day at a time, and always make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later. Bye.